Hey everyone, it's Krystallee here. So, how can you change when the systems around you don't change? And how can you change so you can overcome burnout, overcome the stress that causes burnout? And there's a lot of systems out there, maybe too many systems. Don't even get me started, I can go on and on about this, but sometimes systems are outside of our grasp. They're too big, bigger than us, and we can't influence change in some systems. And I've been there. I've been in the private system, the public system, my own system, and I notice that sometimes they just don't work. They don't suit me. So, what did I do when I was stuck in these systems? And I just was lost. I felt like I had no options. Felt like I was stuck there. It's a very hopeless endeavor where you feel like you're just beating a dead horse because you're doing the same thing over and over again, hoping things would get better. You try to have conversations with people, try to bring awareness, bring change forward, but nothing happens. And so sometimes, as we all know, systems break down. Systems don't work. Systems need revising, rejuvenating, revitalizing. And when the upper management or the higher people or people around you don't notice that the system is broken and just keep working within that system, maybe it's time to reevaluate what kind of system you have set for yourself. And we're all in a default system for our own selves as people, as persons. We have a default system. And sometimes that default doesn't really serve us. And like I said, I've been there in those different sectors. And when I was in a private sector, my system didn't work because it didn't work for the person I was employed with. And when I was in a public sector, also saw a lot of flaws and problems and just didn't work with my system either. And that system was really broken. And then my own system and redefining it, redeveloping it when I realized that none of these other systems were working for me. And it didn't matter how much I changed environments or changed places. This was something deep within myself, deep within my resolve of how I look and feel about everything going on around me. So my system, as outside of all the other broken systems, needed some repair, needed some attention. So what can you do when you need to overcome the stress that's caused you to burnt out? And these systems around you are holding you down, holding you back from doing that. When you finally realize that the systems are broken, and they're really broken, beyond repair, that's when it's time to turn your eyes inward and look at yourself, look at what's happening in your system. And sometimes we need to change the way we act and respond to these things. And maybe that can make it better. Maybe that can improve your situation when you're able to take stress and resolve some of that stress and find some other ways to deal with it. Think about it and have some coping skills towards what stresses you out. And that could significantly improve your environment that you work in or live in. And your whole attitude in itself can change everything around you. And even right now, I'm in a system, and it started off as something challenging. I was not feeling well about it. And then I realized that it didn't matter what I did, each of these systems, as similar as they are, weren't working for me. So I had to change a system within myself to become resilient, because this is something I had to do and need to continue doing until I can make some significant change, which takes a bit of time and patience. But that kind of thought process that occurred in my mind where I need to change my outlook. I need to change the way I deal with the stress. I need to change my attitude towards things. I need to break some of the habits and the constant looping thoughts that occur daily. And that changed everything. And it made me able to tolerate and deal with things a lot better. And so it really comes down to some self-awareness, where self-awareness allows us to judge ourselves and judge ourselves in current situations and just determine if we're going about it objectively and in a better way for ourselves. And when we bring some self-awareness, we're able to turn our eyes inward and look introspectively, look internally about our own selves and evaluate our own behaviors and our habits and thoughts, and really not criticize them, but evaluate them to see if they're working for us or if there's something else that we can do. And there's always something else you can do. So when you're finding yourself in this state and perhaps maybe whatever around you can't change, you have the choice to change, but you have to make that realization that that choice is available to you, that it's at your fingertips if you choose to. And when you choose to, then you'll find things that you need to do in order to make this actually happen and put it in action. And so I started with just evaluating myself, bringing that self-awareness. And when you start doing that, then you start developing things that you need to do for your own self to gain some healing, to gain some resilience, to gain a difference in your life. And that could be a series of different things. It could be perhaps incorporating more healthy foods in your diet, or working with a therapist to move past your stressors and couple that with maybe some movement exercises and some routine in your life. And that can also then start increasing other parts of your life. Perhaps your relationships improve with yourself and others, your sleep improves, your diet and nutrition improves for your body, and you start feeling overall improved. But you have to create the environment on the external, and then that all comes from our own internal. But it does require you to make that change, to make that choice of change, because these systems are in place for a reason, and sometimes we can't change the system. We have to adapt ourselves, but we don't have to sacrifice ourselves and our values. We need to adapt whatever we need to do so we can find some better choices out there. Make changes in our environment and in ourselves. And so these systems don't have to rule our lives. So develop a really good system for yourself. Start from scratch. Start from self-evaluation. And then everything else will fall into place. But you have to create your own system so you know what systems you can tolerate and live within. So I hope you're able to get some value out of that today. I'll see you soon.